Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 45 of my story. So, at this point, me and him were on the phone and we're communicating. And he basically goes into this whole other conversation. And I'm warning him over the phone that, hey, my attorney said I need to be careful what I speak to you over the phone about. And so he starts talking in codes that I don't really understand. He's basically saying, I'm going to need you to contact the Wickedy Witch. And so I'm like, the Wickedy Witch? Like, who is the Wickedy Witch? And he was like, you know, one of the people that came in your house that day, one of the people that you had to talk to. And so I'm not confused, but I'm not following him all the way yet. So I'm like, it was a lot of people that came in this house, and there was a lot of people that I had to speak with. He started saying the one from the Eastern District. You need to contact the Wickedy Witch from the Eastern District. And so I'm like, all right, so what do I need to contact her for? And he's basically saying, you're the only person that can save my life. You're the only person that can help me. And so I'm like, I mean, help you how? And he's back basically at this time, he's asking me to cooperate with the government to help him get a Rule 35B as a sentence reduction because he's incarcerated and he can't do the work for himself. And so I'm taken aback by this. Like, you've already gotten me in all this trouble. I'm having to go from court appearance to court appearance to court appearance. And you're asking me to contact these people now and sit down with them and cooperate on your behalf. And so he's telling me he already has all the information. I just need to go in. People know me. They'll trust me. And so I'm like, absolutely not. Like I told him, there's no way in hell. You better call some of those tricks you've been messing with on the street because it damn sure ain't about to be me. So about a week after me and him had this conversation, I received a phone call from my attorney out in Florida. And she's basically telling me that I have another court date coming up. However, the court date was for the following day, and I was supposed to just appear before the judge for them to talk about some things. And so I was like, this is short notice. I can't make it. So she basically filed a motion on my behalf in the courts stating that she would stand in for me. So she gets back with me and she sends me a text message too, forwarded from the AUSA. And basically the message is saying that I had a minimal role in this and that I could be looking at anywhere from 2 to 5 years, depending on cooperation. And so I'm basically asking my attorney, like, what do they mean, like, cooperation? Like, I went in there, I told them the truth about everything. And so she said, well, let's just see how everything goes with that meeting. So he eventually calls me back and he's steady on the phone begging and pleading with me to help him. Like telling me, you're the only person, you're the only one that could do this for me. Please don't do that to me. He's telling me how he loves me. He's telling me he made some big mistakes, that he was on drugs, that he was taking these X pills and stuff and he was getting out of his mind. He was being drunk and that's why he didn't know the stuff that he was doing, that he was always feeling so bad about it and that he wished that he had never done half the things that he had did to me. And so at this point, I'm basically telling him, no, you don't. That's your character. That's who you are. That's the type of person. So when I tell you all that the forces at that time were working against me, they were absolutely working against me. So about 2 weeks or so later, I received an email from my then attorney in Florida. And she's basically forwarding me an email from the AUSA. And the email is basically telling her that, everything considered at this time, that they were going to be pursuing charges on me at the highest level. Basically, that the meeting that we had, I wasn't forthcoming in. But I already figured out it wasn't that I wasn't forthcoming in that meeting. It was because I wasn't doing what they wanted me to do or what he wanted me to do at that time. And so not only were those forces working against me, but the secret agent cameraman friend that he had that was coming around for years, that was the bestest of friends with him, and later slept on my sofa, ate at my table, I watched his kid and everything. He was running down there and getting in contact with anybody and everybody that he could to tell all these people to say this and say that. For the duration of what had been going on, his mother had been, in contact with me as well as my mother. And she had apologized to my mom over and over again for her son's actions. And she was basically saying, that she hoped that he took this case because I didn't deserve to go to prison. And plus, it was his fault. So his mom eventually asked me, can she come and pick up the kids so that they can spend the weekend with her? And so I wasn't against it. I told her, yeah, she can come pick them up because that will be giving me a break. And so that's what she did. She came, got the kids, and she took them with her. But upon the kids returning home, my daughter was telling me, yeah, Mom, we talked to our father. And so I was like, oh, yeah, so what did y'all talk about? And she was like, he just wanted to know if you had another man in his house in his bed. And so I was like, what? Like, he was on the phone asking you that? And she said, yeah. And then he just asked me that next time he talks to me, if I see another man in the house going inside his room, just to let him know. And so I said, your grandmother was right there when he said this? And she was basically like, yeah, she had gave us the phone. It was on speakerphone. So my kids was very dramatic about it. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I see what this is now. So then I contact his mom, and I'm basically telling her, like, how dare you? How dare you let him get on the phone with my kids and ask them about another man being in this house? And in case you want to know, yeah, another man has been in this house, but they haven't seen him. So I decided this time I'm going to invite my parents over for about a week or two. I also decided it would be a good time for me to give a house party, something that I like to do. And so I invite everybody over, and I don't exclude people that I should have probably excluded at that time. I invite the midget over who says that her daughter is his, and I also invite the other young lady who doesn't have any family out here, and she's saying that her biracial son is his. So everybody arrive at different times or whatever. They're coming to the house. My family is there. My sisters is there and everything. And I had already told my family that I was going to invite them over. So at this point, my sisters is basically telling me, hey, and when they get here, beat their asses, like beat both of their asses. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to fight them. It's not their fault. Well, these two ladies come over and they spot each other. And all of a sudden, a straight up war breaks out in the middle. So they're just yelling and screaming at each other while everybody's trying to keep them two away from each other. And the midget is absolutely furious and she wants to get to this girl. And so I'm telling them, no, not here. We're not here to do this. And basically, Uncle Earl is here. And my mom, of course. My mom is sitting there saying, no, let them fight. I got my money on the midget. Well, Uncle Earl, he's there instigating it too. He done threw off his shades. He's supposed to be blind. He done dropped his stick. He's walking just fine, saying it's the best entertainment that he's seen in a long time.